Hi, Democrats. Today is Thursday, October 19th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Thursday. Well, it's Thursday, and usually I'm here with Representative Mickey Dollens. He had a scheduling conflict, so he's going to join me tomorrow. So if you logged on because you wanted to see Mickey today, go ahead and stick around and watch me, and then come back tomorrow and catch Mickey. So a couple things I want to talk about. I don't even know how to talk about them. Yesterday, I shared with you my disgust with Congressman Tom Cole's nominating speech for Jim Jordan. And usually the Speaker of the House is a thing that happens while we're not paying attention, right? They are in Congress doing their bit, and then we just find out that Nancy Pelosi is the Speaker of the House. That's usually kind of what happens. But as of late, with Kevin McCarthy and the 15 votes and Jim Jordan, who keeps losing ground every time, and maybe we'll put up the guy that Kevin McCarthy says, and maybe Jim Jordan will be out, or won't he? Here's the thing. We're learning a lot about civics because it's broken. We're learning a lot about how Congress works, how our government works, because it's broken. So what we can learn about what is going on in the Speaker of the House race is this. It's broken. And our Oklahoma delegation is right along with the disruptors and the chaos caucus. They're the ones voting for the guy who keeps losing votes. They're the ones who are voting for the guy who, had a significant role in the insurrection. They're the ones voting for the guy who hasn't passed the bar, nor has he passed a bill in his entire time of being there. Our delegation is participating in the crazy. Our delegation could get together and decide to get some more folks together and make a decision. We're watching. We're watching, and they should be concerned that we see them in this chaotic state. So we'll see, because it's going to keep going and keep going until hopefully we don't end up with an insurrectionist. But our delegation isn't doing anything to stop that. It makes me really sad. And it appears that the Chaos Caucus, or the folks who are backing Jim Jordan, are being directed by the former president, the twice impeached, 4 times indicted, once lost, defeated former president, is truth socialing, Xing, telling them what to do, or at least making it look like that's what he's doing, because they're doing whatever it is that he's saying on Truth Social. Now, here's the thing about that, because I hate to talk about the national stuff, because I think that all politics is local. But if I'm going to talk about the national stuff, I'm going to tie it back to the state stuff. And that's why I wanted to talk about our congressional delegation. But here's something more serious. Oklahomans overwhelmingly donated dollars. Overwhelmingly, the majority of politically donated dollars in the state of Oklahoma are going towards the former president. He has raised more than $500,000 in the last year from Oklahoma alone, $600,000 from Oklahoma. Now, we all know by now that money is going to pay his lawyers. That's what that money is for. That money is going to pay his lawyers. It's not paying for any campaigning. What campaigning have we seen? It's paying for his lawyers. Why am I talking about that today? Because Sidney Powell, one of the 19 co-conspirators in the RICO trial in Georgia, pled guilty today. She took a plea deal, and part of that plea deal was that she was going to testify for the prosecution, which makes me feel like the former president's legal fees just got more expensive, because they're going to have to do more work to try and discredit Sidney Powell, to try to separate themselves from Sidney Powell. Sidney Powell was on the inside. We all saw her in her leopard sweater. We all saw her on TV all the time, speaking and defending Trump and spouting the fake news. We all saw it. She was an integral part of that system. She was absolutely, if anybody's going to be part of the RICO trial, it's going to be her and Giuliani. And she's pled guilty, signed a plea deal. And Oklahomans keep sending money to pay that guy's lawyers, which makes me a little sad. It makes me really sad. But let's bring it back to Oklahoma. Well, do I want to talk about Oklahoma? Do I want to talk about history? Today is the anniversary of the publication of Fahrenheit 451. That was the book that talked about a dystopian future where the government banned books and tried to control what people learned. Feels like we're here. Feels like it's not dystopian future. It feels like it's dystopian present. But here we are. Today is the anniversary, and I thought it was kind of important to mention that, considering where we are, considering that elected officials are talking about banning books, that elected officials are talking about stripping universities of funding if they talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. How diversity, representing all of us, inclusion, making sure everybody has an opportunity for a seat at the table, and equity, making sure that folks have what they need, is somehow a dirty word. But that's where we are in our state. And it's just, it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary. So funny thing that happened, but not so funny, is that our governor received an award. Okay, take a minute to digest that. He received an award in California about somehow work and life and work-life balance and creating great places to work. I'm not real sure how that worked, but he received an award. But the award was rewarded in California. Well, if you guys remember, our governor issued a travel ban to California, saying that you could not spend state dollars to travel to Oklahoma. So there was all this, what is he doing? He violated the ban. He violated the ban. So they had to come out with a statement saying that it was paid for by someone else. So no taxpayer dollars were spent on his trip. So I'm going to say it because I've seen some of the comments, and some of the comments have been directed at me. What is the governor doing? So I'm just going to point out, the governor flew to California as the governor in his capacity as governor, but someone else paid for it. So he found a loophole so he could do the things that he told all the people who worked for him that they couldn't do. He found a loophole so that he could do it. That feels like the hallmark of this governor, that there are these rules that he's all over the news taking credit for and sending out press releases and talking tough about. There are these rules, but they don't necessarily apply to him. That's where we are. And that's why we have to work hard to elect more Democrats in our state. We need to interject some reason and balance into what happens in our state legislature. We need to have someone who asks the tough questions, or at least someone who they think are going to ask the tough questions, so that they will vet themselves before they put it on the floor. They don't have to vet themselves now because they're in a super majority, and they know if they put something forth, they can all go in a back room and cut a deal and leave the Democrats all the way out. We need more Democrats so that when they put forth silly, attention-getting headlines, attention-getting legislation that's not meant to help anyone, that there are enough Democrats that can fight it. So this is the time of the year where I start saying, help me find someone that you would vote for. So if your legislator is up and they're not a great legislator, help me find someone that you would vote for. We will gladly have that conversation, help them get ready to run, and help them through the process. That's what we have to do. We have to find candidates and then support them once we ask them to run. Support them. Don't wait until the primary. They're going to need your encouragement along the way to stay engaged, to keep messaging, and to stay out there. So help me find someone. And when I say find someone, and I started out talking about what's happening in Oklahoma City, but I also mean for your local school board, your local city council, county commissioner, all of those races. Find someone that you would vote for. Find someone that when you see their name in the paper, you don't wince, or you don't have to shake your head because they've done something ridiculous. Find someone that you would be proud to vote for. You would be proud to tell your neighbors to vote for. That's where we are. We are at less than 6 months, just under 6 months, but we are at less than 6 months before filing. And now's the time for folks to decide they're going to run, put together their teams, and be ready to run out the gate. Now is the time. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back here tomorrow with Mickey for real. Tomorrow at 4:15. You guys have a wonderful evening.